Hey everybody, Blaise here, and today I'm getting ready to do some animation. As I sat down and started to draw, I felt a little bit clunky. Even after 40 years of doing this, sometimes you have off days and you feel a little bit clunky. And so when I feel that way, I like to go over and just do a little bit of warm-up drawing. So I went over to Photoshop, opened up Photoshop, and decided to do some sketches of a lion. And I thought it might be kind of fun to take you through that process. When I'm doing this, I'm really going into it blind. I don't know what I'm going to draw, and that's the whole idea. It's there to loosen me up. And so by drawing something familiar for me, like a lion, I can just sit there and relax. I'm exploring poses, I'm exploring anatomy and all kinds of things. So why don't we jump over and I'll take you through that process. So I just sit down and I start to scribble. Here I'm looking for a kind of a head shape. I'm not even sure which way the lion is going to be looking, although I know I wanted a full body profile. Here I have him lifting his paw, but look how loose I'm being. And often I draw too big for the paper and I have to resize. But even at this loose, I'm thinking about anatomy. You can see I indicated the hip when I drew that bent leg coming forward. And now I'm starting to figure out kind of a pose, this long stretched stepping pose. And even, you know, if you look at the paw that's lifted up in the air, that indicated to me where the back leg was going to be located, because it has to step where that paw once was. And here you can see I've decided to change that pose and get something a little bit more slick. I'm constantly kind of narrowing it down, and now look how bold I'm drawing. Whenever you see me getting that bold in my drawing, now I'm starting to feel the pose. And so I want that front paw reaching even more. I wanted more drama in that face, and so I did that in profile. And I wanted even the mane to kind of follow that arcing gesture to the body. I wanted this arcing kind of reach through the tail, all the way up through the body and up through the head and nose and front left arm. And now you can see I'm really starting to feel it, and it's just a matter of refining. But I'm staying really loose. Now, one thing I want you to understand is that I've spent many, many years studying and understanding anatomy to the point where I can just sit here and simplify it and not really get hung up on, you know, what part goes where, because I'm thinking about, you know, masses and that sort of thing. And I've spent a lot of time understanding the rhythms of those masses and how they go together. And so that becomes second nature. So if you want to go out and you want to draw animals, really understand that anatomy ahead of time, because once you do, it really eases things up and you can explore a lot more. So once I've got that rough sketch in, like I've done here, I like to lighten up that layer, put a new layer on top, and start to refine it a little bit. Now, the biggest challenge that you have at this point is making sure that you don't lose the freshness and the boldness and the spontaneity of that initial sketch. And so I still try to stay loose. I don't get really sketchy with my line work. I just try to lay it in as quickly as I can and try to keep that same flow and fluidity through the drawing as I try to define details. And that's a challenge. Here you can see I'm trying to define muscles and bone and hips and that sort of thing in those legs as they're bent, but still try to keep it gestural and keep it fluid and try to keep it spontaneous feeling. But I want you to really feel that pose going all the way through the body. And that's what I'm looking for when I'm trying to warm up. I want to be able to, it's almost like talking. You know, as an artist, your drawing and your sketching is your language. And the more fluent you can be with it, you know, the more words you have in your dialogue, the better you are at describing ideas. And it's the same with drawing. The better you are at getting these down fluidly and easily, the more you can describe. And so that's the goal as an artist, especially a representational artist like I am. It's getting in there and trying to portray the world in my own vision and for you to get something out of it. And so here is a quick sketch. This whole sketch took about 10 minutes to do, and from concept to finish, and there it is. So I hope you learned something. So there you go, folks. That's it. I hope you got something out of that. You know, if you're feeling clunky and you just need to sit back and just do some sketching, go and do that. It really helps a lot. It helps me every time I feel a little bit clunky, and I can just sit down and just get all those cobwebs out of you. And but like I said, it does help to have some of that knowledge in the back of your head so that you can free yourself up just to explore and have fun. So why don't you get out there, go out and have some fun, put some beauty back into the world, because that's what we do as artists. And I'll talk to you next time. Thanks.